Hey, welcome everyone. So, as you can see today, I'm going to share my Wells Fargo interview experience, and believe me, this was one of the toughest interview that I have ever experienced in my entire career. Oh my God, he was interviewer was, to be honest, like he was taking some personal grudges with me. So stay tuned to catch all the interview questions here. So before that, I would like to give a quick introduction of ourselves. So we are a bunch of software engineers who are attending interviews and sharing our interview experiences through the videos. So as you can see on the screen, we have already shared many MNC's interview questions. I have mentioned here few like Cognizant, Oracle, DBM, IBM, ADP, IBM, Accenture, Capgemini, Value Labs, State Street, HCL. There are many. So you can visit our channel and you can find those videos. And if you are not haven't subscribed yet, I will request you to please do subscribe. So let us start. The first question was explain your project architecture. And believe me guys, he was very keen at listening. Even if the one word if you were spelling it wrong, he was like my English teacher. He was correcting me on that as well. So be very what I can say alert when you are explaining your project architecture, especially in Wells Fargo. And he was cross questioning me like anything where regarding the LDAP. To be honest, I never worked on LDAP, so I know that our project uses LDAP authentication. And he was like my school teacher. Why don't you know LDAP? How does it work internally? So if you're working on a project, you should know everything. And I was like, okay, teacher, अब क्या मार देगा क्या मेरे को? Seriously, man, he was like my school teacher, and I was literally my legs were shivering when he was cross questioning me. So the next question is like, what all design patterns are used in JDK? To be honest, I never encountered this question. I was not even aware like what all design patterns that are used in JDK. So I was blank for a moment, and he was staring at me like and saying, "Do you know what are design patterns at least?" So I know design patterns, but I am not that aware of what all design patterns that are used in JDK. Later on, I googled it. There are few design patterns that are implemented in JDK, like observer, singleton, factory design pattern, and few others. So be prepared for this type of questions there. So next question was, what is abstract class and interface? Explain them in detail. So I started explaining like what are the differences between both, and he was like, when there is he started cross questioning like, why do you think abstract class came into picture when the interface is already there? So I said, we can have concrete methods inside abstract class. So he was like, so in the normal class you can implement an interface and you can have concrete classes, right? So why do you need abstract classes? And I was like, to be honest, I was blank again, like really we can have that also. So that type of questioning was there in the interview. So if you are attending, please be very prepared and go. So next question was, what is the difference between hash map and hash set? So again I started explaining the differences between hash map and hash set. Then a counter question came. So why do you think we need hash map when there is already hash set? So I said like, in hash map we can keep key value pairs and in hash set we cannot keep. Okay. So and he was like, why do you think why do we need hash set when we have already have a hash map? Hash map is having better functionality than hash set, right? And I was like, again, yes it is having, but what what can I do? You should ask this to Sun Systems who implemented these classes. Seriously, man. So the next question is, why do you when will you use array list, and when will you use linked list? So I started giving him the examples like in which scenarios I will use what, and he was a bit convinced there. And there were no cross questions on this, to be honest. So the next question is, what is concurrent hash map? Tell me the internal implementation of it. So I have given him like in detail perfect explanation of how concurrent hash map internally works and why it came into picture, like what all uh, drawbacks or disadvantages we were having with hash map and everything. I explained him and he was a bit convinced here also. So can we use non-static inside abstract and interface? So we can use non-static only in abstract, not in interface. When I answered this, so he was like, why do you think non-static variables are not used in interface? So I was like, it was designed in such a way that interface will have only final and static variables. And he was like, okay, what will happen if I keep non-static variables? Do I get compile time error or runtime error? So this was kind of interviewing there. Be prepared. So next question is like, what is concurrent API in Java? So as I was already having a very good hands-on experience on this, I was able to explain him in detail and he was very much convinced with the answer. So next question is, look, what is executor framework in Java and what all benefits do we get while using executor framework? So even this I have a very good knowledge, like we use this day in day out in our project. So I somehow convinced him in explaining the entire thing, like why do we need executor framework or what is executor framework. Next question is, what is concurrency modification exception? Actual concurrent modification exception. So I said, like, whenever we are iterating through a list and if you are simultaneously adding or deleting the elements, we will get the concurrent modification exception. So he said, how can we stop like how can we prevent that? So we can use iterator and we can handle it. So why not in enhanced for each loop we can handle it? He was like, the question was like, the counter question was like this. So if in iterator if we are able to handle the concurrent modification exception, why in the enhanced for loop we are not able to do that? And I was again like, मैं क्या करूँ रे भाई? It, you go and ask Sun Systems all these things. Why you are asking me? I know how to make use of the things, but I was not aware of how internally it was built. So he was not that much convinced with me over there. So next question, why character array is better than string for storing password in Java? So I was having a very good uh, knowledge on like how strings are stored and up to what time strings are stored, and I was pretty much able to convince him on this answer as well. Next question, write a program to create a cache where object is removed after a certain period of time. So I have used EH cache and I have demonstrated a code where the object gets removed from the cache after a certain amount of time. Can we handle error in a cache block? To be honest, I thought it was exception first and I started explaining him. Then he told me like, did you hear the question properly? So I said yes. Can we handle exception in the class cache block? Then he reiterated the question like, can we handle error in the cache block? So the straightforward answer is no. Then the cross question came up like, why can't we handle errors in cache block? So it is the expected behavior, it should not be handled. That is the reason they are called errors and JVM should know the errors. So the next question, like, tell me some best practices while using collections. So I was well prepared with this. Like there are 5 to 6 points that I have told him, like these are the best practices that we need to follow when we are using collections. And if you are not aware of it, you can Google it. You can find it anywhere. So he was okay with the answer. So the next question was, tell some critical situation in your current project and how have you handled it. So in my initial days there were few problems that how and that those problems I have explained him and how I have conquered them now, how I have handled those situations. I have explained him the same. So he was okay again. To be honest, this was one of the toughest. Again, I would like to reiterate, please be prepared. Please prepare and go. Don't go like that. They are, I don't know, like whether we are getting interviewed for Wells Fargo or ISRO. They may ask us to launch a satellite as well. So these were the questions that were asked to me. I hope you people liked it. And please do subscribe our channel to catch all the updates. And Please do share these videos to other technical platforms as well, so that someone who is looking out for similar kind of videos may get help. So thanks for watching again.